What are the four main things that you can do to close more deals, but also to close them faster? What I want to share with you guys, I learned over the last 15 years of being in direct sales. Man, I've sold so many different kinds of things. I sold industrial equipment, gym memberships, and personal training, $3,500 vacuums door to door, insurance, man, personal development, coaching programs, high ticket consulting deals. I've done a couple for this last year. I've done two for $1 million and a bunch for about 100 grand, 100 to 150 grand. And I've learned a lot of things, fortunately, from multiple industries. So what happens a lot of times for people is they get stuck in one industry. They're selling real estate, or they're selling cars, or they're selling insurance, or they're selling something else. And because they're only in that one industry, they tend to pick up the language that all of the people in that industry use. So it's impossible for them to actually stand out because they're only paying attention to insurance as an example, or real estate as an example. And so I've gotten this cool edge as a result of not just being in a lot of different industries, but now my most recent work, the last few years, technically the last 10 years, most of it has been across all kinds of different industries. It's been with real estate agents, e-com business owners, investors, M&A guys, private equity guys, people that own chains of gyms, like just so many different kinds of things. And so the thing that I want to share with you guys today, these four things that I learned that I think have helped me more than anything else in terms of closing more deals and closing them faster, is these work no matter what you sell, because it's all based off of psychology. The underlying foundation of being an effective salesperson is understanding human psychology. And so I'm going to share some quotes with you guys throughout this, by the way, because there's so many quotes that encapsulate simple frameworks that anybody can implement immediately. And I want to start with one that is often seen as being what's the word I'm looking for? It's often seen as being like a nice thing to say, but nobody actually implements it. And this quote came from one of the presidents, his wife, Theodore Roosevelt. His wife said, "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." And so, one of the big obstacles a lot of salespeople have, especially on the phone, is they never shut up. They just talk and talk and talk because people who are extroverted like to go into sales, or they like to go into professions where they can talk to a lot of people. And the problem is when you talk, you don't listen. There's another great quote you guys should be writing down. You have two ears and one mouth. Use them in those proportions. You should listen twice as much as you talk. And what I find, regardless of the industry, this worked for me when I was in the gym. This works for me when I was selling industrial equipment. This works for me in my current role, selling consulting services, marketing services. The same is true no matter what you sell, that you have to be quiet at least two-thirds of the time if you want to be able to effectively pitch. And the reality is, what most people do is they make nice. They say hello, how are you? What part of the world are you in? Oh, I noticed you got a picture of a dog behind you. What kind of dog do you have? La 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 la. They say a lot of useless things, and then they immediately go into saying, well, hey, I know you guys do X, Y, and Z. I'd love to just tell you a little bit about what I've got going on over here. Me. It is such a self-centered and stupid sales process, which is why most people either make very little money in sales, or they quit because they're like, wow, sales is so hard. And it's funny because this stuff is not new. Like, if you read the Bible as an example, it says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Okay, well, how would I want to be talked to? Well, I'd want somebody to actually know who the fuck I am. I don't want somebody to just start spurting all this information. I mean, they don't even know if it's a good fit. So the first thing is just get really good at shutting up. And if you have a hard time, there's this cool button on your phone. It says mute. Ask a question and mute yourself and wait until they ask if you're still there. Just be quiet. The second thing is you need to have a process that follows the rules of normal relationship building. So, a perfect analogy for this, especially if you're a man, you see a woman on the street, you don't run up to her and say, "Hey, would you like to be my wife?" If she says yes, you don't want that lady as your wife. Like she's probably going to kill you or steal your kidneys and sell them or something terrible. And it's ineffective. 999,999 times out of, a million, the answer is no. So you get nowhere. Um, in fact, even worse than that, more likely is these girls are going to run away from you or they're going to call and or yell rape or something else. So you need a process that works the same way relationships do. So when you're trying to start a relationship or build a relationship, what do? Well, you get to know somebody. Hey, what's your name? What are you into? What do you like to do? Where are you trying to go, right? Now, in business, you don't ask these questions, and this is a big mistake a lot of salespeople make. They ask these kinds of questions and they call it building rapport. You don't build rapport by asking stupid questions. You build rapport by providing value and not wasting time. So if you're watching this video and you're taking notes with pen and paper, or you've got your phone on you, I would put that in your phone. It's worth looking at multiple times. You don't build rapport by asking stupid questions. You build rapport by delivering some kind of value and not wasting people's time. So when you're doing this in a business context, like say you work in, marketing or in some kind of, higher ticket business, you're selling products at 10 grand, 25 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand. Hey, what made you interested in this? Why'd you reach out? And you mute yourself, you just be quiet, you just wait and listen. Oh yeah, I saw your guys' advertisement, I saw this, or I was thinking about this and I saw this and this thing happened, or you guys reached out to me. Oh, got it. Well, what made you, interested? Like what made you willing to jump on the call? What was the thing that kind of stuck out to you? So you're trying to figure out, why are they even here? Why did they show up? People have a lot going on in their lives. They've got work, they've got family, they've got hobbies, they've got sleep, they've got meals, they've got showering, they've got shitting. Like, there are hundreds of things a day that need to be done just to maintain your current status in life. So, when people get on a call with you, value their time. Make sure that when you're going through your script, you're like, okay, so you reached out because of this. Like, what's the current situation? What's going on in the business? Like, how are things looking right now? Can you give me just a quick rundown, like a 2 or 3 minute rundown? And if you guys notice, the things that I'm saying here at the beginning of this are the kinds of questions you should ask because they're open-ended questions. They're open-ended, meaning they could just blabber on for an hour if you let them. So you always start on the front end of the sale with open-ended questions, and on the back end you do more closed-ended yes or no questions. And so the goal here is to build a relationship. In fact, if you look at the etymology, the origin of the word sell or to sell, it comes from a Germanic word meaning it's selle or sile, and it means to hand something to somebody or to put something into their hands. So a good idea for a lot of you guys would be to take that understanding that you now have of what this word actually means. By the way, just a quick side note, you guys. Spend time looking up words you use a lot to make sure you actually know what they mean. A lot of people think sales is convincing other people to do what you want them to do. It's not. Sales is actually finding a way to get somebody to open their hand so you can give them something. So make sure that you understand that prior to going into the call. You focus on building a relationship. And the interesting thing is, you don't need, a lot of these tactics that people talk about online. Oh, when they give this objection, you give this rebuttal. You have to sound confident and be slick and all this. You don't have to do that. You don't have to also even be like a really high energy person. Now, just to clarify, if you drain the energy out of a room when you walk in, you're going to have a hard time selling. But like when I talk to people on sales calls, this is about how I talk. I talk the same way all the time. I'm just who I am all the time. Now, maybe, I've had a little extra caffeine one day and I'm talking a little bit faster or I'm more excited. Or maybe something great just happened, I'm more excited. But for the most part, baseline is about baseline all the time in every situation. And here's number three of the four things I wanted to share with you guys. Number three is you have to just be comfortable being yourself. Look, everybody poops, okay? Everybody poops. Everybody's gonna die. Everybody has the same anxieties. People wonder, oh, is this girl gonna like me? Is this guy gonna like me? Are people gonna think I'm stupid because I did this? Am I gonna be judged? Am I doing enough? Am I successful enough? Do I make enough money? Everybody has the same problems, the same situations. The billionaire guy still gets up and shits every morning like everybody else. He gets constipated or diarrhea like everybody else. He dies like everybody else. So when you're going into sales calls, be confident that it's okay to be yourself. However, this it should be your best self. So what does that mean? When I get on a sales call, I am not looking at Instagram. I'm not texting my mom or my girlfriend. I'm not looking up prices of flights for my next vacation. I am only doing one thing. I am paying immediate attention to the person on the other line of that sales call. I am not doing anything else. Before sales calls, I spend a lot of time reading. I spend a lot of time researching. I spend a lot of time studying trends. So when I get on the sales call, I can demonstrate that I'm an authority rather than trying to prove that I'm an authority. It's a great side note for you guys. If you have to try and prove that you're an authority, you're not. You're not. So, how do you build authority? How do you come in with confidence and authority? You do the homework, man. It's like you're never nervous taking a test if you put the hours in to study for it. If you know this back and forth like it's no big deal, you don't get nervous. So the third thing is just be comfortable being yourself. You don't have to change yourself. Like the way you guys see me dressed right now, this is how I dress when I go on a date with my girlfriend. This is the nicest I dress, by the way. I will probably wear a tuxedo when I get married, and that'll be it. In fact, I've been trying to figure out if I should just rent it because it seems stupid to pay for something I'm going to use one time in my whole life. And so a lot of you guys that follow me on my other social platforms like YouTube or TikTok and Instagram, you'll see like most of the time I'm wearing gym clothes because I'm hot all the time, and that's what's comfortable. And guess what? It makes zero difference in my sales. Most of the sales I've closed for 50, 100, $200,000, I closed them wearing gym shorts, gym shoes, a tank top. I was usually sweaty because I just finished working out and I like doing my calls right after the gym when my energy's high. So, like, you can absolutely just be who you are and be a closer at the same time, but you have to be the best version of you that you are. And that this is where a lot of people get caught up. They see successful sales trainers who are like high energy, intense, they're wearing a suit, they've got a Rolex, they have all this stuff, and they think, oh, I've got to be that person if I want to win. And the reality is that's who that person was before you knew who they are. The reason they're winning is because that's who they are. That's actually the kind of person they are. It's not typically an act unless they're like a psychopath, like crazy. You know what I mean? So realize you can be you and be a closer. And the fourth thing, and this is one of those things that a lot of people struggle with, is you have to ask for the sale and you have to be prepared to ask for the sale a minimum of 5 to 12 times if you want to close. I cannot tell you how many sales calls I've audited where the salesperson didn't ask even one time. And if you look at the statistics, on average, minimum, it's going to take 5 to 12 times of asking to close a deal. 5 to 12 times of asking. And on average, half of sales calls end with a salesperson not even asking for the sale. How are they supposed to buy? Like in the Bible, it says, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened unto you. Well, if you're not asking, seeking, or knocking, what are you going to get, man? So I want to share with you guys some stuff. This is usually stuff I only share in my school community, in the Stealth Closer School. But it's one of those things that I feel so bad because there's so many people that really don't know how to do this in a way that isn't annoying, um, or arrogant or obnoxious, or just like, just it just pisses people off most of the time. So I want to just share a few ways with you guys so you understand how to do this effectively. So, and just a quick preface, you got to know what their current situation is. You got to know what the goal is, and you have to know what the wall is in between those two things that you need to help them to get over, through, under, around, however they're going to get there. You need to know what those three things are before you can even pitch. To be totally honest, the other thing is you need to like actually educate or challenge the client before you pitch. But that's like a totally, I mean, I could do probably a 2 or 3 hour long video just on like challenging and educating clients. But when it comes to the actual pitch itself, asking for the sale, what most people do is half of people don't ask. The other half only ask 1 or 2 times at best, and they're typically asking in a very strange way. They're asking like, "Oh, do you want to do Visa or Mastercard?" Or, uh, "Can I have your order for this today?" Or, "Would you be willing to do this today?" Or like very strange things. Just imagine you're talking to a friend and be like, "Hey, man, how does that sound?" Get their opinion. Like if you really think about it, right? Sales is a collaboration. My job is to get you to open your hands so that I can put something into your hands. And your hands and your job as the prospect is to decide if you want to open your hands. And then if you do, to make sure they're ready for what I'm about to give you. So the close should be a collaboration. How does that sound? That's number one out of 5 to 12 asks. They say, "Oh, it sounds good, but I got to do this," or "Would you guys do this?" or blah blah blah. Well, actually, the way it would work is we would do this and then we would do this. Basically, it's like a three-step process. We take care of the initial payment. We have an onboarding process. Our team will actually help you get started. And then from there, it's just a matter of maintaining the momentum that we're going to build over the next couple of months. Um, why don't we do this? Look, I have some time. I'm looking at the calendar. It looks like we can do an onboarding tomorrow. There's like 3 slots open at noon, at 2:30, and at 4 p.m. Um, can we get the initial payment taken care of today? And then tomorrow we can do step two, which is doing your onboarding, and then we can just start kicking ass. Does that work? As a second ask. They might say, "Oh, I'm busy tomorrow. I can't do it tomorrow, blah, blah, blah." And they'll stop talking. Just so you know, people are not going to offer to buy. They're not going to be like, "Oh, can I please buy?" 99 out of 100 times, they won't. There's one person who's like, "Hell yeah, dude, sign me up." Everyone else, you got to work. You got to work. You got to work. You got to ask, ask, ask. Ask, seek, knock. Ask, seek, knock. So then they say, "Well, tomorrow's not going to work. I'm super busy, basically until next Tuesday or Wednesday." And what are you doing on the back end? You're looking at the calendar, Tuesday, Wednesday? Okay, okay. Well, actually, it's like wide open Tuesday and Wednesday. What's the best time to schedule your onboarding for? So notice what I'm now doing is called assuming the sale. I'm assuming the sale. I'm assuming they don't have any other obstacles. They just let me know that's the only obstacle they have left. They can't do the onboarding tomorrow. Okay. We'll do it on Tuesday or Wednesday. What time's best for you? I'll get this booked in for you right now. And they might say, "Oh, I got to do this." Or, okay, well, if we could do that, I mean, what else would you need from us to be able to get started today? Because I want to give our team time to have a meeting to really make sure we start you off on the right foot. Like, what do you guys need from us to get started today? Number three. And I just keep going and going and going and going. And you can implement a lot of different tools into that. If you offer discounts for fast action bonuses, you say, hey, look, I've asked this guy 5 times. Let's imagine I've asked 5 times now. I'm getting a little annoyed because I'm like, this guy has 50 million excuses for not buying. Say, hey, look, we've got a fast action bonus for people because what happens is I waste a lot of time, which costs the company a lot of money, texting people, emailing people, calling them. It's annoying to you. It wastes your time. It wastes your company's money. So we've got this fast action bonus program. If you're willing to just get started right now, I can actually knock like 800 bucks off of this. So would that work? Why don't we just do that? And then your onboarding will be on Wednesday of next week. Sound good? So there's so many different tools. You can do a fast action bonus. Um, you could just do like a deposit, give them a bonus, so you reduce the risk, you increase the reward. So do a deposit, give them some kind of bonus, and then have them start with the full price after they've already gotten a little taste of how awesome your product or service is. And so I'm gonna end this video. I didn't want to even go this long. This is a little bit longer I was planning, but those four things, a lot of you guys are struggling with sales because you're violating one or all four of those like basically frameworks. And for those of you that are really interested, I have a school community. I'm in there literally at least 6 days a week. Most weeks I'm in there 7 days a week, answering questions, doing call reviews. I'm constantly updating the Stealth Closer course. I would go check that out. It's not very expensive. It's like $100 a month or something like that. Depending on when you watch this, we might increase the price down the road. But if you saw this video and you saw it was 97 bucks, it's 97 bucks. The reality is though, like in the modern world, there is so much information, and it's almost impossible to know who actually knows what they're talking about. And I'll tell you guys what I honestly believe. I think every man in the modern world, especially in like America and the UK and Australia, we're all lonely, man. We're all lonely. The average American has 2 friends in their friend group. To give you some perspective, it's 12 in Denmark. And people in Denmark live about as long as Americans do. They smoke and drink at a higher frequency, and they're one of the happiest countries on the planet because they've got a good group of people around them. So some of you guys are not in any communities at all. It's a massive mistake. Even if you don't go into the Stealth Closer School, which I mean, I would obviously want you to, but like even if you don't go into that, I'd recommend you guys get into stuff. I've been in this space, the like personal development space for 15 years. The best thing is all the different things that I've done with other people. Sure, making more money has made my life easier in certain senses, but it's also made my life harder and more complicated. I have more people that I need to take care of. I have more people I need to be worrying about, like, hey, am I taking good enough care of these people? I have more responsibilities. I have a crazier schedule. I just spent the last 3 years traveling almost every 2 weeks. I was in a different place for almost 3 years. So making money, yes, 100%. I want to help you guys make more money, especially if you're like me and you're starting out and you're like really broke. Like when I started out, I made money by donating plasma for $280 a month, driving Lyft 24 hours a weekend, 12 on Friday, 12 on Saturday, and cold calling Monday through Thursday, 13 to 14 hours a day. So, like, some of you guys out there are like I was when I first started, and right now the only thing you're thinking about is like, I have to make more money, and it's fine. It's fine. When you're broke, you should only have the goal of making more money until you're in a spot where you don't really have to worry so much. You're not stressed out like, oh, can I buy meat this week, or do I have to buy top ramen and tuna like I was doing back when tuna was $1 a can. I remember it was so cheap. Now it's like $3 a can or something like that. It's crazy. But get into communities and get around people who want to win. I'm telling you guys, the people, most of us were born into families, and this isn't to disparage your guys' families at all. This is just me speaking frankly about myself and a lot of the people I've encountered over the last 15 years in this space. Most of us were born into families that have taught us to try and play it safe. Save as much as you possibly can. Hopefully one day everything works out and you'll be okay. I think that's a mistake, man. I think it's a massive mistake to hope that one day you'll be okay. You're okay right now, man. If you're watching this video, trust me, your life is okay. You have a smartphone or a laptop. You have access to all of the human intelligence ever created. You can basically start a business and generate sales in one day with AI and all this other stuff. So you're already okay, man. You're already okay. But in order to live a really great life, you're going to have to make a little more money. You're going to have to take more responsibility, and you're going to need a good group of men around you. There's a good book on this by Jack Donovan called The Way of Men. He says the first line in the book, the way of men is the way of the gang. And that sounds super negative because the only gangs nowadays are criminal. But the reality is, all of human history, men formed gangs. There was a group of men that would work together to secure resources, to secure women, and to secure their bloodline, to be able to have children and continue the human species. You need a gang. You need good people around you that, number one, they're going to support you when you're getting your teeth knocked out, because sometimes life will really knock you right out. And at the same time, you need guys that'll keep you motivated so that you don't settle. Once you settle, you just start dying. It's like the statistics on people who retire is so frightening. It's something like 70 or 80% of people die within 5 years of retiring. You don't want that, man. What's the point of even retiring? It'd be better off to have something productive to do those last 5 years. You know what I mean? So I'd recommend you guys for sure. I'm going to post the link down here in the description. You can check out the school community. There's an exhaustive course in there that I have it structured in a way where you can learn a certain framework or skill and implement it for an entire day across 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 phone calls, however many people you actually talk to, and then learn the next one the next day. It is a system for helping you to develop not just discipline and consistency, but develop a skill set over time, which is how skills are built. It's not built by binge watching every video you can possibly find, and then all of a sudden you're a master of sales. I've been learning Spanish. I'm telling you guys, it doesn't matter if I spend 8 hours today learning Spanish, I'm not going to be fluent tomorrow. It is a real skill to know how to speak a language. It's the same thing with any other skill. So make sure to check that out. If this has provided value for you guys, by the way, leave a comment below so other people find this. I think one of the biggest problems in the modern world with there being so much information is it gets incredibly hard to find what is actually most valuable, because sometimes what's most valuable isn't the most controversial, doesn't have the strongest hook, or it's just not the most stand out stuff. It's like investing. Good investing is typically boring. You buy something and you hold on to it for a really long time because you understand that thing is going to increase in value. It's like, it's not sexy. It works, but it's not sexy. And so what happens is a lot of people are looking for all these strategies and tactics and all this stuff that are really flashy, and instead they're just getting misled.